can you introduce yourself to get us started, please?
Hi, certainly. I'm Iain Williams. I'm Director of Strategic Partnerships at NERC, the Natural Environment Research Council, part of UKRI. What that means is I'm responsible for all our long-term investments, largely through our 6 research centres, but also some longer-term investments with the university sector as well. I'm also responsible for our infrastructure and particularly our future infrastructure. So what are the next big research facilities that the environmental science community need to do its research? And I'm also responsible for our digital programs as well. That's our digital infrastructure, our data programs, and our digital research as well.
What do you think researchers should bear in mind to better understand the needs as well as the constraints that policymakers face?
A policymaker will be considering the totality of the context which it will be set out in, but also they'll be thinking about the long-term future as well. You don't want to keep changing policy very frequently if you're talking about a policy change rather than implementation. So I think, is this something that is like to be enduring? Is it like something that needs updating quite regularly? What does that mean for a policymaker, or indeed somebody who's implementing a policy, working obviously with a large number of stakeholders? You don't really want to have to change the rules, if you like, of that policy implementation every day of the week. It needs to be enduring. So again, think of the longevity of what you're thinking about as well.
What are some common challenges that researchers face when trying to influence policy, and how can they overcome these obstacles?
Yeah, there's all sorts of challenges, and sort of trying to understand, spend more time understanding where the policy team or the regulatory team are coming from. That's really important. I've come across lots of perhaps misconceptions about why isn't this research taken into account. Well, there's many reasons why it can't be or isn't necessary, but that's not because the policymaker doesn't necessarily want to, but it's because there are other factors playing into the decision making. So spend time talking with the relevant people to understand what the barriers are and how you can help break down those barriers, or think also about timing. There are certain points in various policy cycles, if you like, where actually a change is more amenable than another time. So talk to them about timing, talk to them about wider context. It's really important.
What strategies would you recommend for researchers to effectively communicate complex scientific information to people who work in policy?
The first thing I would say is keep it as simple as possible. Of course, policymakers are very intelligent people. They can understand the science, but they don't spend a lot of time reading the latest scientific papers. Also, you as a scientist will have lived this work for sometimes many years, a period of time. You've gone through it, you've worked out the methodologies and developed it. That's not what's really important to a policymaker. It's what does it mean? What are the implications? How is that going to change what I do or what I'm thinking? So really focus on those points. The other 2 things that it's just worth mentioning here as well is think about context. Context, first of all, in a scientific sense. It's very rare that one scientific paper or one study is going to influence a policy directly. So think about how you communicate your work in that context. What do other studies show? What do other people show? Where are the differences? Where are the uncertainties? What are the different contexts that might influence that particular direction, for example? So the scientific context is important. But also, and this is a little bit more challenging, but remember to think about the wider context as well. Because obviously a policymaker isn't just thinking about the science. They have to think about who would be impacted by that sort of study. What's the economic impact? Are certain stakeholders or sectors of society more likely to be impacted or in a positive or negative way? So think all these things about context, social context, if you like, scientific context, and getting your message really, really clear